Welcome to the World Sim Racing Competition, or WSRC, where anybody can join for cold hard cash. Today, we have our biggest prize pool yet for a single winner. $51.70 is going to the first place winner of this race, the Toyota GR86 on Rudskogen Motorsenter. And the lap times from qualifying have been extremely competitive. Among the top 5, we had Elder, Mark, Rupe, Jordan, and Mika, all within around 0.3 seconds or 0.2 seconds of each other. So the elbows will definitely be out. I know we can't count out anyone later down in the track because in this race, anything can happen. You could have a bad quali, but with a rolling start, you can always get a jump start on that leader if you time it perfectly and make up a lot of positions. This is going to be an interesting race, I can already tell from now. And the rolling start is underway. We have some familiar names in this track. We have Elder, who qualified P1, who has been a 2-time race winner on WSRC. So let's see if he can come back for the hat trick. And now the rolling start is underway. These drivers are looking to get a little bit of heat in their tires. Elder is looking to start formulating a plan of when he is going to start accelerating flat out, the best time to trick the rest of the field so they're off the gas when he's on it. If he does it correctly, he'll be able to get around a 0.8 second lead just from the start. That's right, knowing how to do a rolling start correctly is so critical, especially if you're in first place, but even more so if you're in third or fourth. Because if you can predict the jump, if you can start accelerating and be side by side with the person who's next to you by the time it begins, you'll be able to slingshot by them by the first corner. Really just trying to get some heat into these tires on this extremely technical track, Rudskogen Motorsenter. Because if your tires are cold, you will just understeer off the track. And that is not what we want to see. Currently, we're looking at Rupe in third place with the Blue Falcon livery. Today, looking at the liveries, we don't see any extremely fun ones like we did a couple races ago with the Ogre. We might have to start a competition to see who has the best livery out of each race. Best to start the rolling start after a corner to get a big jump on speed from the mid and back. Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. If you're able to time it where you're side by side with the person next to you so you don't get that slowdown penalty, and just as it goes green, you pass them, that's exactly what you're looking for. And the best way to do that, like you said, Cathedral, is on a corner. Or just after the corner. It looks like we're heading into the final corner. This is when Elder will be looking to make a move, and everyone else will be looking to put the pedal down as early as they can. Elder in the red car, Mark in the white, and Rupe in the blue. And we are off for the largest prize pool single winner race in WSRC history. Elder in first place, Mark in second, and Rupe in third. They go around the first bend, no casualties in sight, but it looks like Rupe has been spun out. Back to Elder, he's able to keep his position. Mark is up into P2. Mika has moved up 2 positions from P5 to P3. As we can see, the top 5 is still relatively close with a 1.1 second gap Elder has been able to extend. Side by side goes Mika and Dennis into the high speed bends. Precision is needed here not to split. And Mika is just able to get in front. The rest of the pack is moving wildly. Everyone is toe to toe. The competition is fierce here because the skill level is so similar. All 3 of these races within 0.1 seconds of each other on this first lap of Rudskogen Motorsenter. Elder able to extend his lead by 1.4 seconds, while the rest of the pack is battling to just survive the first lap. On his tail, looking for the inside on this corner to try and make a move. Will they have the patience, or will they go early and cause another critical crash? We'll be looking for some drafting action after this final corner here between Mika and Dennis. Mika behind Dennis now. We should be looking at a move if they are both able to exit this corner correctly. All 5 of these starting ones in line, and the same behind as well. As you can see, Rufy is still back there in around P8 now, so he isn't completely out of the race. We cannot write him off just yet. .5 seconds mark to Eldar, 2.2 seconds to first place, 2.5 seconds for Mika, 2.9 seconds, so the grid is still relatively close. Dennis, as I said with the rolling starts, has moved up 4 positions on the first lap. That's the power of knowing how to correctly execute a start. Because that's, while it is the most scary place to make moves. And we look like Mika is making a move on Dennis on the inside. They are side by side, and it looks like they'll be continuing that pattern going into the hairpin. Dudu behind though is trying to make a move and capitalize on the 2 fighting. Mika is trying to stick it around the outside, but Dennis is still there. On this final corner though, Mika will now have the new inside line, so will they be able to capitalize? Dudu trying to go on the inside, but he spins out, unfortunately getting too aggressive. We have Dudu behind, and this is a great strategy to try and take advantage when 2 races in front of you are battling. But it looks like he just got a little bit too overzealous and spun out. And now he has dropped down to P11. Tuning in with Mark, only 1.3 seconds away from our leader, and the pack has split up a little bit more now. Going back to Mika and Dennis, only 0.3 seconds behind 3 and 4. These 2 are on each other's tails, and they've been on their tails this whole time. Rupe back up to 7th place. He is making moves. He wants to get this $51 prize pool. And I think he can do it. If he has the raw pace, he'll be able to put in lap times like no other. And we've got our first lap times in now with some blisteringly quick times. Mark with the fastest lap of the session, 132.92. Eldar, our leader, with a 132.97. So 0.5 millisecond difference between the 2 races. Virtually identical. Eldar will be feeling the pressure knowing that he has an equally competent racer right behind him. The rest of the pack has split up a little bit more, with Raphael 7.7 seconds behind P1. Josiah 14 seconds. I love to see Raphael and Josiah back in this race. They were in our race yesterday, and now they're back for more. Ryan with 17-second difference. Morgan with an 18-second difference. Dudu with a 19, dropped down a lot of places after that unfortunate incident. Zachary with a 35-second difference, and Richard with a 125, and it looks like Jordan is out of the race. But a couple more times coming in. Mika with an extremely close time once again, a 133.12. So still in the game to win this, only 4.3 seconds behind the leader. Raphael with a 34.28 and Josiah with a 35.8. It looks like we just saw a move from the number 9 car. So let's see if we can catch that in the replay. Looks like someone's coming on the inside now. Too wide into turn 1, you have to be extremely careful. Looks like one of them might overshoot it, but it looks like the person we are viewing just went a little bit wide and dropped down 2 position. Dudu there with another aggressive move, getting the move done past him. And this seems to be the closest racing as current. Dudu and Morgan now, only 0.2 or 0.3 seconds away from what it looks like each other. Mark is still in P2 and Mika is still in P3, so the top part of the grid has solidified a little bit more now. But like I said, we've only got 6 minutes into this race, so there is still another 9 minutes of racing where anything can happen. If we had a quick look at Morgan, the front of his car is missing. That is definitely going to affect his aero. But it's an amazing job that he's been able to maintain 9th position with a damaged car. We'd love to see it. That's the fighting spirit that WSRC is all about. And for those that just joined, this is the World Sim Racing Competition, where anybody can join the race and compete for cold, hard cash. Great observation, Morocco. Rupe is back to P6. He dropped down to P11 and he is crawling his way back. He is fighting for this win, and I know he will not give up until he at least makes a podium. Let's have a look back in with our leader. You can see 3.1 second gap, and it looks like Eldar just passed the back marker. Thankfully, the back marker moved out of the way and didn't cause any trouble, because that could have been a very problematic occurrence. We had seen that in one of our first races where a back marker unfortunately just refused to get out of the way. But when $51.70 is on the line for the victor, you'd have to think that the racers have some sort of respect for each other and move out of the way when the blue flag comes. And thankfully today, we saw that happen. Eldar just set a new fastest lap, 132.86. People are slowing down on the straights. Not sure what you mean by that. You were in this race and it happens twice. That's interesting. We're going to have to get a replay of that later on and see what happens. Perhaps it was during the rolling start, braking on purpose. That's quite interesting. Maybe they just had an earlier braking marker or something like that. But yeah, we hate to see it. Yeah, that's strange. That truly is strange. And we're coming back in with this race. 3.4 seconds mark to P1. Mika with a 4.9 second difference. Dennis with a 9.7. Rupe with a 17. Rupe has moved up to P5 now. He is making amends on this track. He is crawling his way back up. 17 seconds to P1 though, with only 7 minutes left in the race. Will he be able to get higher up? We'll just have to see. Looks like there's a close race between P4 and P7 right now. I mean, car number 4 and car number 7. Apologies. Josiah there in the yellow car, who has moved up 4 positions since qualifying. Morgan right on his tail with the damaged car as they go through the high-speed bends of Rudskogen Motorsenter. Morgan right on his tail, looking to make something happen. Looks like Raphael is 1 minute and 9 seconds behind our leader, and Richard a whole lap behind. And it looks like Morgan gets the move done on the inside. Is Josiah looking for redemption though on this hairpin? And it looks like he is. He goes to the inside, but is he a bit too fast? He just taps the back of the car and nothing happens. But Morgan ends up going a little bit wide, and now he's looking to the inside, Josiah, for this last section of the track. They go side by side once more, and he's just able to maintain his lead, Morgan, that he acquired only a few seconds prior. Josiah is going to want to try and get into his slipstream to get the position back, but it may be too late for Josiah. He may already be out of range to get that optimal draft. We'll just have to see. Will he dive to the inside on T1 and try and make something happen? Or will he be happy with his position, dropping down from P7 to P8, which is still a total of 3 positions up? And it looks like Morgan has more or less secured the position and is looking to attack the next person. However, on that corner, Morgan went wide, so Josiah is now challenging once again. They just passed a back marker. Morgan, Josiah, tail on tail, going through the high-speed bends, an extremely nerve-wracking place to be side by side with a car. Josiah wants this position back. And just checking in with the top racers now, Eldar still in first place, extending the gap by 4.2 seconds to Mark, and Mika with a 5.5 second gap. It looks like Josiah has let off the gas a little bit, and Morgan was able to extend the lead. Ryan, slightly behind Josiah now, looking to challenge, looking to get something done. This racing has been extremely technical, extremely tight, and lots of fun moments so far. 11 minutes into the largest prize pool single winner race of WSRC history. Mark has been able to slightly reduce the gap now to Eldar with only 3.7 seconds difference, Currently, we're watching Ryan try and get something done on Josiah. Josiah goes slightly wide. Now they are more or less side by side as they enter into T1. Josiah in the yellow on the inside line. Ryan with the white car. Ryan will maybe look for a swap back if he can, but they go back in line because they know it is too risky to go side by side through that very technical first corner. The rest of the pack is still quite spread out. In first place we have Eldar, second place Mark, third place Mika, fourth Dennis, fifth Rupe, who has climbed his way up from P11 after a horrific crash at the start of the race, sixth Dudu, seventh Morgan, 8 Josiah, 9 Ryan, 10 Zachary, 11 Richard, 12 Raphael, and 13th, who is DNF'd, Jordan. Josiah and Ryan now battling to see who will keep position 8 of this race. Ryan is right on Josiah's tail, and he is looking to get something done. Josiah taking a defensive approach now, going to the inside. We have a little bit of latency issues, but it's alright because we're still continuing nice and strong. Ryan tried to get something done on the outside, but couldn't manage to make the move stick. These two racers are battling like they're battling for first and second, but that's how it is when you're a racer. You can't give up, even if your position isn't first. Let's try and have a look at Josiah. Hopefully he has a little bit, Ryan, apologies, a little better ping, so we're not seeing all of this flashing. That's quite interesting. It looks like the person behind Josiah isn't Ryan. It may be a back marker that's been lapped. I'm actually not sure who that is, but you can see that they are flashing their lights, asking the yellow car to get out of the way. Is it possible that this is someone higher up on the field? I guess we'll never know. We're looking in on Mark now with a 4.2 second gap, P2. He needs to close 4 seconds in a minute and 30 seconds to secure the prize pool of $51.70. Eldar has to keep his composure for less than 2 minutes to take home the prize and be a 3-time winner of WSRC. Eldar, Mark and Mika all on the podium, looking to make something happen and take home glory as well as cold hard cash. If we look at the gap between everyone, it looks like Mika has started to gain on Mark just slightly. Only a 1 second gap now. And it's dropping as we continue to 0.9 second difference. Let's tune in with our leader as they complete their penultimate lap. And Eldar is just cruising, setting blisteringly fast lap time after blisteringly fast lap time. Rupe has managed to come up to P5 from a massive drop, but it looks like he won't be able to make a podium position in today's race. Eldar is just hitting apex after apex, making the racing line be his best friend. And they are going. He still has the fastest lap time of the race as well, with a 1:32.8. He has extended the lead by another second since the last time I mentioned it, with a 5 second gap now. Mark and Mika only with 0.7 between the two of them, now extended to 1 second. And the rest of the field with the bottom 4 people being greater than a minute behind. Eldar is now crossing the final corner before he finishes the lap and is able to secure first place for the 3rd time in WSRC history. And we have our race winner, Eldar, who is taking home $51.70 on this fabled race. Mark in 2nd place and Mika in 3rd place. An amazing race from all of these races today. Thank you everyone for joining and tuning in. This has been a fun one. We've seen lots of battles, lots of action, Rupe climbing up lots of positions, and Eldar taking home a 3rd race win in WSRC. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Great race everybody. And I'll see you next week in our races. If you want to participate, head over to WSRC.live. And if you care about watching shorts, about highlights, anything like that, you can head over to WSRC_official on Instagram. We'll be posting to our Discord as well, which you can find on our website. Thank you everybody. Cathedral, it was a great race. High stakes indeed. Alright everybody, I'm out. I'll see you next time.